What's up, guys? So, here's not here. This was the next episode of The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 4. And this episode gave us a compelling and interesting and important story. It was a backstory, flashback episode for Morgan in Season 6 of The Walking Dead. And this episode started off on the perfect foot because I feel like this season's been super fast-paced and super action-packed. And I felt with those shocking events of what happened at the end of the last episode with Glenn and everything, this was a perfect time to keep viewers still anticipating and waiting. And we got to see it in a well-developed and extremely compelling story, seeing how Morgan became the person who he is now. Because as you can see, a lot has changed for Morgan since we last saw him in Season 3. And his attitude can affect the group in a very big way, because he has this peaceful mentality. He's a warrior with a staff and a stick, and it just came out of nowhere, but you don't really know how he learned this. And I'm so pleased and appreciated of the fact that we get to see a backstory episode that shows how Morgan turned into this character that he is now. And it starts off with him and that wolf, who we had not known the fate of in that amazing episode of JSSS. And basically he's looking at the screen and he's telling the wolf, which is the audience, so we're basically the same audience as this wolf, hearing Morgan's backstory and why he does what he does. So immediately it starts off with a very clever and interesting way to tell the story by explaining, you want to know my story? It basically like talking to the fans, yeah, we do, we want to know it, well, here it is, boom. And then it starts off. This is a 90-minute episode, so it has a lot of time to fill in this well-needed information. So it starts off seeing Morgan going crazy still, yelling about Rick not being there. You're not here! You're not here! And I gotta say, Lenny James is an amazing actor. Morgan is by far one of the most fascinating characters on the show. And it starts off with him in his crazy mode. He's a psycho. He doesn't trust anybody. All he does is clear. And what he means by that is he kills anybody who goes in his way. So early in the episode, these two people ran into Morgan at the wrong time, trying to steal from him, and they paid the price. He took them out. And in this journey of random acts of violence, he comes across this house where he meets Eastman, this new character created for this episode. Yeah, and this Eastman guy is played by John Carroll Lynch, and he's a well-known actor. We've seen him in a lot of different things over the years. He's very recognizable, and he's a great actor. So I was very pleased to see this guy come into the universe of The Walking Dead. So basically, this character has a very interesting title and a very interesting role. He basically brings in Morgan after he tried to execute him and kill him and take him out, and he keeps him in the house in his own cell as a living hostage. But he's this friendly and passive and peaceful person. And you also find out that this guy had a very intense and psychiatric job of working with prisoners, so he had a very intense mindset even before the apocalypse began. And he is a master of cheese making, which was very hilarious. This episode had a lot of bizarre and random things that just were unintentionally funny. Well, no, they were intentionally funny. Just the fact. So basically, he keeps him in there. He's learning about him. He's learning to try and teach him to be a better person. Morgan, I'm talking about, because Morgan is still insane in this mode where he doesn't trust anybody, and he's basically showing him the way of peace and trust. And he does this by explaining what the purpose of life is and how important people are. And this is such an important and deep aspect in the universe of The Walking Dead, because people are the most important thing. They are the centerpiece of The Walking Dead. And I think that this character performance and his role inflicted on Morgan so well, because towards the beginning of the episode, you saw him as a crazy man, but in his ways of teaching in the Aikido, the art of peace, where it's this creed, this lifestyle, not to kill and to live by peace, and showing that all life is precious, which is amazing storytelling. And it was beautiful to see these scenes between Lenny James and this and John Carroll Lynch, Morgan and Eastman, two tremendous characters combining together for a really compelling story. And throughout time, over this time events of when this is happening, he's starting to bond and grow and learn knowledge from Eastman. And when Eastman explains his horrific job and his backstory as to why the cell is there, Morgan and I, the audience, are shocked to hear the sad news which happened to Eastman, which could happen in real life. It was basically the story of what happened to his family. This guy who he read as being a psycho killer went out and took out and destroyed everything he cared about, which was his family, and that's why the cell was there. And to be able to forgive someone like that and to not kill is insane. And that's what everyone thought. It was so insane that Eastman ended up actually, in the end of the episode, it was revealed that he did kill him. But you know what? As the story turns out, he proved to the fact that it didn't give him peace. He only found peace when he was given the time and the moment of realizing that killing is not going to give you peace and that all life is precious because of the events that happened. And as it turns out, poor Eastman, sadly, of course, got bitten. And I knew he wasn't going to die, but he wasn't going to make the end of the episode because he's not part of the story continuing on. But man, what an amazing performance, an interesting character, and a truly compelling turn of events from beginning to end. This was such a well done story. I don't understand. This is my thing. The Walking Dead is not all about action and blowing zombie brains out. It's a really compelling story with these character dynamics and how they revolve into surviving in this world. And characters have many different points of views and different aspects. And this episode really showed what truly dramatic storytelling in television can show, and along with good acting. I also love the setting. You even felt bad for the poor goat, Tabitha. Yes. But it was really like an old Japanese samurai story with the learning the ways of the Aikido staff and the creed and the purpose of the art of peace, and how it portrays into Morgan's character, which will now lead into major events that continues on later in the season, and how it's going to affect the group and the world they live in. And it just was told brilliantly, because then it recaps at the end of the episode where it showed Morgan had moved on because Eastman died. He knows the way now. He knows who he is. And he basically is explaining the story to the psycho wolf maniac who is pure evil, as it would seem, and compared himself to Crichton, who had killed his kids. And I just thought that this story really moved me a lot. And I feel this episode was amazing. I just like, this is what's great about The Walking Dead, is that they give storytelling as good as this. And Here's Not Here, for me, gets a 9 out of 10. This episode was amazing. It was well needed. It was very necessary and very well done. Extremely executed very well. I could not be more pleased, and it fits at the perfect time. Now we all know why Morgan is the way he is. Eastman was a great character. Amazing episode. This is Drew's Reviews. I will be keeping up on Walking Dead. This season's been very good so far. Next episode looks like it's going to continue on the momentum, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.